Stream, and we are live.
Okay.
So
Hello,
I-
everyone. It's May 9th, and it's the Forestation Board meeting. We have a quorum of members here. Sylvia has not been able to participate today. She's out of town, and maybe we will have Herb joining us, but we have a full agenda today, so I'd like to get started. And the mayor's not here at this time, so maybe Andrea, we start with you.
Okay, I just kind of had an observation or a comment, and and I think we touched on this the last meeting, was that we should probably continue to give homeowners that may have hazard trees left in their yards from the tornado a grace period before, we think about notifying them that they do have a hazard tree that they may or may not be aware of. So I have just a couple on a list, and I'm just going to continue on a list. And then, whenever the board thinks it's appropriate, we'll just watch and see if they don't get removed in the next month or two. Because of course, everybody has had some other more pressing priorities too with this damage.
You can scratch the one on Sedgwick, or Greenmere rather. I'm sorry. It's Southern. You can scratch that one off the list. I've already had it removed. So.
Okay, good, great. So I don't really have anything else. I've been, out looking around, and I looked over the agenda for today that Linda sent out. So I'll probably have some comments whenever you get started on the agenda.
Okay, sounds good. And hang on to your list. We'll see how that develops. And I agree, it's not an easy time for many people for multiple reasons. So let's go on with the tree reports.
If you do notice any city ones, go on and give them to me though, because
Yeah, I sure will. Yeah, so far I've mainly just seen a couple on private property.
Yeah, and there is one on the list that we will, get into. So that's good. The first one is just, all I was trying to do with this list is report any contacts I'd had just individually or through the city in terms of follow up with, all the tornado reports. The first lady, this Laura, she emailed me, and she had some Bradford pears that were street trees that had come down in Sutherland, and she had reached out to the property management company, and I guess they in turn talked to John Clark, and she was just anxious to get it moved away, and did, and she just wanted to let us know what was going on, and and her question was was she required to plant new trees? So I think maybe a letter to her thanking her for her actions and suggesting tree sources, and yeah, more trees are always good. Next one, White Hill Circle. I think this one's been taken care of. It was on public property coming into the entry of Hunting Creek. There doesn't seem to be anything there right now that is of great concern, but he did reach out to us. And so going on to item C on Fox Harbor Road. He had some trees that supposedly, I did speak with this gentleman, and I thought they were behind the property, but they are adjacent to the property. And from what I understand, he reached out to the city again, and it's on the side of his property in an area that is, from what Ron believed to be public space. So Andrea and I are going to go out and look at it based on her schedule and the weather, and determine if there is any risk there, and then let the city know if there's any steps that need to be taken.
Yeah, I spoke to him yesterday too, because he came in just to reiterate to make sure we knew where he was talking about. I'm pretty familiar with that.
And I think there have been incidents in that area before that
There has been.
actually had done some work.
I may just go on and have that cleared. We'll wait and see your things.
Okay, and I did send him a message this morning that we were, aware, and thanked him for, updating my understanding, and that we would look at it when it was, fit her schedule and the weather.
Yeah, we can get together soon on that, sure.
Okay, just let me know what works for you.
Sure will.
The next one was just a guy that we went out and looked at, and he's lost a lot of trees, and he just wants to hope that, you know, the city's going to do some things to help folks with replanting. Dewey Cook, Shadwell Lane, that is a little different situation. He had sent in a request about 2 pine trees at the corner of
Cross.
history. Yeah, and I looked at them, Andrea's looked at them. They are not street trees in terms of public space. So these basically are his trees, and it would be appropriate for us to advise him of Andrea's opinion that one of them really does need to go. It's in bad shape. The one next to it would be reasonable to continue to keep an eye on based on her findings. I don't know, Andrea, do you have any other comments on that one?
Well, I think, I mean, when I was looking at it, I thought maybe I didn't know if they were on private property or city property, but.
I didn't either.
You know, but, it's easier on city property to keep an eye on trees because we're all, you know, cognizant of doing that. His tree, his other tree has had damage. It outwardly doesn't have as much damage as the other tree by any means. So I would say we could probably keep an eye. I would still like to keep it. I would still keep that on my list to keep an eye on, if that'll work for Ron. Now, I know Ron saw that, you know, was there the night probably all that damage occurred. So he may have a different opinion. We know it had wind damage to beat the band. So.
Yeah, actually, unless they declare it God, I can't talk today, a hazard,
Right.
easy for me to say. The city really doesn't have a say in it. I mean,
Right.
because that's
Right.
they're definitely on private property. So,
well, he could be sent a letter from the
Yeah.
board about the
Yeah.
other one.
Right.
Right.
And I think
So
that's the
I
next
think
step.
that would be the reasonable thing to do for now.
Okay, sounds good. Next one, Hunting Hills condo. This one's been lingering for quite a while. And, you know, we just,
Herb just showed up here, very timely.
yeah, tell
Yes.
him, you know,
Hi, Herb.
Herb, are you
Hear
talking?
us yet. Why does it say unverified? Does that mean they're on the phone or?
he's probably not signed in to WebEx.
Oh,
And Connie's unverified and she's still talking.
Linda's unverified. So
Yeah, me
It
too.
was, Andrew was unverified. Yeah, I'm unverified now.
maybe we're all unverified. Yes.
Oh, yeah, you too. Okay.
I don't trust any of you. You're not verified.
Okay, good luck with that. But in any event, Belinda, who's the property manager for the condos, sent an email to Lee, which I sent out and forwarded earlier today. And based on, and I should go back and verify where her source of information was, because she said Jefferson County confirmed that it was not on the condo property. So that leaves it to maybe 1 or 2 of the properties that back up to that property. So they need to be advised to get the survey and take action based on responsibility. Does that seem reasonable?
Does to me. Ron
Yeah, I
shaking
mean,
his
because
head.
I don't hear you.
if the city does it, then we're gonna bill whoever's tree it is up. They're gonna end up paying for the survey anyway. So,
Yeah, those trees really need to go. I mean, they're brittle. They're extremely brittle. They're very hazardous. They're
I'm surprised they
top of a
did not
hill
come
that's-
down with the storm.
right. That anytime they could come down on a car or a person or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think do you all have a record now of which 2 properties then? Do we know which property yet, what they're on, or we don't know yet?
Well, the drawing that Herb sent this morning did give a street address for one of the properties, and it would be
Right.
pretty easy, I think, to determine the adjacent property, and we could go to Logic or
Correct.
whatever to get that number and the name of the two owners. So a letter could be sent to them just to have them go through the survey process. And I know Herb had suggested somebody to do the survey and, you know, an approximate cost, which was not outrageous. So that's kind of where we are on this one. Herb, we see you, but we do not hear you. Are you there?
Is he muted or what?
I don't know. It's hard to see her muted.
He's not muted.
Oh,
Bouncing around.
Herb, where are you?
Herb, can't
Herb,
hear you.
he's doing
I know sign language, Herb, but I
Maybe
can't
I
use
should
it on
text, maybe
TV.
I'll text him and tell him we can't hear him.
Okay, well, hopefully he can figure it out and maybe he's hearing us so he knows we cannot hear him. And, you know, I'll go on to the last tree. That was a canopy tree situation and Ron has ordered more tree guards and
They
I
should be
think
any
he
day.
said anytime, so that can be remedied and we can go from there. The ordinance.
On the tree guard from Mr. Gallagher, can we get the Lopez and Perez to install
Well,
that guard?
It'd probably just be as easy to get one from Ron and somebody just drop it off to the gentleman. Ron, or I don't
Or
know,
I can go up with some,
it's not that big of a deal. I
yeah,
mean,
with some
just
cable
put it
ties
around
and
the
put it
truck,
on. It's not that
and then
hard.
just, yeah. make it
Just
look how they-
because it's you guys. If you'll send me the address, if you'll email me the address when they come in, I'll go over and slap it on. It's literally just showing up and putting two or three wire ties on it. And
Okay, we can do
It's,
that.
it's in the
Thank
very
you.
back of his yard, Ron. He got two trees and one tree, Perez told me he didn't even want it mulched or the tree guard installed. That was one that's in his quote finished backyard. And he was going to do that himself on that one. And then the one in the very back, kind of almost in a wooded area, going down the hill in his backyard. That's where the other tree is, just when you get sort of where the grass meets the little bit rough area in his
okay,
backyard.
if you've got a contact number, send me a contact number with that, and I'll give him a call before I go over there.
I think I do. I will get that to you.
He's very nice. I've talked to him a couple
Hi, Connie.
times.
I just wanted to say something.
Perez said he installed a tree guard on that tree, but I don't know what would have happened to it. So I don't know. But anyway, he needs a tree guard, I'm sure.
There are several tree guards when you go down Sutherland Farm Road toward Innisbrook that keep coming off. And I put them back on and they fall off. So how do you want me to attach them?
Zip ties. Do you
Zip
know what those
ties?
are? Yeah, huh?
Well, it's got to be a big zip tie because the trunks.
They may be big enough.
Come
They
in
don't
lots
need
of
tree guards
sizes.
anymore.
Well, how big are they, Connie? How big are they been in a while?
Yeah,
They
they
probably
have.
don't need tree guards anymore.
How
Are
big
they
do
on-
they have?
Are they on association property or private property?
No, I think that's public. Isn't it Sutherland Farm Road down to Innisbrook?
Yeah,
That's,
Oh, down that way.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I
yeah.
thought I was thinking you meant something else. I'm sorry.
okay, well, I'll fix them.
I mean, I can take some zip ties out. I don't know. I'll have to look at them. They may be bigger ones, Ron, huh, Ron? Do you think? I can't remember right
Could
now.
be.
If they're like 4 or 5 inches in diameter or something, they really don't need any trunk
Okay.
guards.
Ron,
Okay.
did you say that the property owner pays for the survey?
If we have to have a survey ordered over a dispute, we generally send the bill to the property owners. Yes,
Oh, good, good.
Okay. That's my understanding.
if they're in the wrong.
Linda, do we need to physically go over and try to view that situation then and or do you just gonna try to take it off of Logic or what? To get the address and so forth.
I can probably get the addresses from Logic. And I think Ron had done that the day or
Right.
shortly after when he and you and Lee and I went out there. that he
Okay.
had addresses, so.
I just didn't know if we knew for sure which exact property they were
I
located.
don't either, and I don't know, from what he has explained to us, that logic's not 100%, so it probably does require a survey. I don't know where the
Okay, well, I didn't know if it would help to
There,
try to.
there's probably pins there.
where the
Without-
pins are, if we could ever
Without having a
find them.
general idea of where they'd be, it's
Yeah,
literally looking for a needle in a haystack.
yeah.
That's right.
And I think from what Herb said, if
Herb and
I'm,
I went there, probably 2 months ago. And with the, logic maps, it was still difficult to determine exactly who owned that tree. Now, the
Mhm.
recent email that he sent out indicated he had found or thought he had found the property owner.
it did give a specific address, and I don't know, Herb, I
It
wish
gave
you
a
could talk.
name, maybe.
I texted him and told him we couldn't, there he is. He can't,
He's having problems, I'm sorry.
I could tell him to call me.
Okay,
Call me. I'm gonna tell him to call me or Lee and tell us what he's saying. How about that?
that sounds good.
Good
He's-
idea.
Probably the settings on,
Well, it looks like he's in a different location, so maybe
Does.
he's not
Yeah.
in his usual spot and the
Mm.
access is not as easy as what he normally does. Okay, and we will have to work on that issue. Next thing, item 5, the ordinance. I'm sorry, there's not anybody from City Hall here. I understand the special.
hey,
Well, you're not part of the.
You don't count, Ron.
The ordinance is another issue, and apparently the special committee is still doing some work, so there's no finalization on that at this point. So we'll see what develops on that one. The tree plan was submitted to the city by the deadline, so that's up to council to review it. We made some subtle changes and set some new goals as, times do change, and I like to think there will be no issues with that. And I thank everybody for getting involved. And then the other thing that I think is probably the biggest issue that we need to address, and I'm sorry Doug's not here because it really involves Mike and Chief Sherrard in terms of how we communicate with code ordinance and enforcing and notifying people. And we had a process from some days gone by that we submitted a form that went to Ron and then it went to code enforcement and then letters or whatever needed to be done based on, be it public or private, things happen. And that does not exist at this time. So, we need to have some conversations with Doug and the chief to see how they need to pursue this, because we are finding things that need action that are city responsibilities, and we're pleased that the code enforcement does have some responsibilities that need to be defined, and that has occurred. So that's a good thing, but we need to figure out how to implement some of these things. And I don't know, Ron, you've been involved with some of these processes for a while. Do you have any comments that would help us?
no, because I'm pretty much removed from the process now,
Mhm.
unless it's a city tree, but, I think the biggest thing is once you all set it up, it's like something before, make sure we've got a paper trail. Just in case it ends up being, going to litigation.
Yes, and that was one of the things we were doing before, is that we submitted a document with the problem and a location, the ownership, and a picture if we could to the city. And I think we probably need some form of that going forward, but we need to get advice on how to pursue that, because I had presented some of those examples to the city. And where we are now going forward, I'm not sure. So that's something we need to work on for sure.
Absolutely.
And,
we
all
definitely-
the things we identified today in terms of the letters and where there's a varying degrees of risk that need to be
Right.
looked
Well,
at both for city and private properties, it's, a process, but we need to go down that road as soon as we can.
We need to, well, we can still go ahead and send the letter to Dewey, the gentleman at Crossbow and Shadwell, right?
I don't see why not, but it becomes a
But then
question.
it
If we
might
got
need a
to send
follow-up.
that to who at City Hall and who's going to do the letter, that all those things need to be, it's kind of
I see.
different steps that need to be a process that everybody understands and will follow.
I see.
Trying to get
That
two
would-
more members in the Forestation Board.
Well, that comes with the ordinance, assuming it gets approved,
Oh, okay.
or some version of it gets approved.
Maybe a
shall see.
while, huh?
I hope not. I know the mayor is anxious to get it
Right.
resolved and move forward. So, any of the updates in the newer document will, move forward. So that's where we are. In terms of the next item, that's the community damage survey. It was made available to anybody that wanted to participate. So, Connie, Herb, Andrea, and I went out on April 23rd, and we had previously looked at the four most hit areas of Prospect. And, one thing that stood out to us was that the amount of cleanup that had been done was just unbelievable.
Amazing.
And, it was still a very beautiful city, but, we've lost a lot of trees and how to best address that. So that was kind of an interesting situation. But we felt really good about what we saw and what had been done and the steps people were taking to do the cleanup and then make way for future plantings. And without anybody other than Ron here, one of the items that we did discuss was maybe we plant larger trees and make them available to the community at Arborfest. Andrea found the people that worked with MSD on the remediation there, and there are some trees that, could be rather interesting. We have been planting 3-gallon trees. Maybe it becomes 5-gallon trees. The one concern that we talked about was the weight of bigger trees and could residents handle that?
Right, and that might be a problem, but
It could be, but then Herb suggested that, in some cases, when we went to the newer recycling bins, that would be a hardship for some folks. And there was a volunteer group that came together to help those that, said, I can't get this big bin out to the street. Maybe if we do something similar, if we choose to go with a bigger,
maybe there's a scout group that could help with that or something.
that was also, that could be a great Eagle project. So, what we've been buying are 3-gallon trees. They roughly weigh 21 pounds. A 5-gallon tree is 25 pounds. That's pretty manageable. But when you get to
Right.
a 7-gallon tree, that's 55 pounds. So something to really think about, probably 2 people involved.
Well, it might be you just, see what the budget will allow as far as possibly increasing the Arbor Fest. Well, I guess, yeah, I don't know. I guess it's the same. Is it the same number in the budget for next year, I guess now, but
We don't know.
Oh, you don't.
And, I don't think where they are with the budget. I think that's still a work in progress, and we don't know a whole lot about that at this point. We've not been asked to submit anything at this point because I think they're still kind of reeling from the tree cleanup expenses and how
Yep.
to best fit that in with all the other things that, the city would like to do. So I don't really have a whole lot of information on that. So that's kind of where we
Kind
are.
of wait and see then.
Exactly. So
Well, there are some options if we want to go, you want to go a little different route.
that's true. And, that we've been working with, I guess it's been Abrams out in Crestwood, and they've done a lovely job for us. Abrams out in Crestwood, they've done a lovely job for us. Do they have the ability to provide a little larger tree?
Would who be able to? Abrams, are you saying?
Yeah, your folks in Crestwood,
Well, larger than
the
2 inch
3-gallon.
They, They don't do 3 gallons. That, we're ordering those from
Oh, man.
Massey, a different vendor.
Okay, okay.
Now that vendor is out of Tennessee and, I honestly don't know if they have, that one in particular has bigger trees other than 3 gallon or not. I'd have to find out.
Okay.
We
That's
can
a-
get bigger trees, they're like 5 gallon, depending on what a minimum order would be from, that place up near
Woody Warehouse?
Indianapolis.
Mhm.
Yeah, Woody Warehouse that I sent you. And I'm sure there's some other sources, but I can find out if the vendor we've been using, the city's been using for the Arbor Fest trees has any bigger trees, like 5 gallon maybe.
Well, we have time to sort out some of these things. And,
Right.
I think those are good possibilities. And that's pretty much
Sure.
all I had on my agenda, other than I was remiss. We did not review the meetings from April 11th or April 16th.
I'm glad you remembered.
We need to make those official. Any comments from anyone? Any changes, corrections? Because one was our standard meeting and then there was a special meeting called at the mayor's request, the following week.
I didn't see any, but I don't know about you all.
I only participated in one of the meetings, but it seemed to be well covered in that case.
Okay, Connie, I think you were in on both. Anything there?
I think they were perfect.
Oh, you're very nice. So let's have a motion to approve the minutes of April 11th and April 16th.
So moved.
Okay, all in favor? Thank you. Okay, and I guess we still lost Herb again.
Yeah,
Is there
there's another item I wanted to bring up. and
Okay,
that was the memorial plaque or plaques. The one is for Linda Wardell's mother. I think the tree is in now,
mhm.
and Ron was asking for a clear identification of that particular tree, and he said he would have it installed. He also mentioned here prior to the meeting that he has another plaque that hasn't been placed.
I think I've got 2 downstairs that I put on the stone, but
I can tell you that I know the tree for Linda's mother was a sweet bay magnolia. I'm
Right.
not sure what the other memorial tree was.
is the magnolia the one that got planted out next to the pavilion?
Yes.
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
What's the
And-
other tree, Ron, or what was the other tree that you
I
have?
don't know off the top of my head.
Okay,
Last time I did them, you all had me do 3. And I know we put 1 down. The one was,
for the Fox Harbor president.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
from Paul Davis.
For
right.
Paul, yeah. Got
Yeah,
it.
maybe
Right.
one for Kevin Wardell's parents. There was one that's supposed to go at Putney Lane.
Okay,
No,
I'll
that-
look and
that-
I'll look
that
and
one was
email y'all the
placed.
name and
That one has a plaque. That had a plaque right
I
after
was
it
gonna say, I
went in.
thought it did.
Yeah, I think it
I'll
does.
look at it and email it to y'all and you can tell me where it goes.
Sounds good.
That's good.
We're showing Herb is on now in 2 places. Do you want
I
him-
know.
And we still
Well-
can't hear him or see him. Come on, Herb.
I asked him to call one of us, but he must be in a location where he's.
Yeah, it's not working.
doing that.
Okay. I don't have any other topics. Lee, do you have anything?
No, I had reviewed what Frank Fulcher sent out on April 30th and had some concerns about that particular draft. But since you have today reported that the
That's Herb.
council group is still working on that, we can let that go till maybe they issue a new finding.
Yeah, and my concern there is I'm not sure he is where it is with the committee overall, and I think Frank wants some further input on it, but until that happens, it's
Hey, Herb.
yeah, it's
I have
You're-
Herb on the line, you all.
okay. What does he want to share?
Meeting, but we couldn't hear you. Would you like to make another comment about that tree, the pine tree situation? Okay. Okay, let me tell him that. He says he doesn't know the drawing he sent out. Just because it has an address on it, doesn't mean that's the address he thinks those trees are on. He said, we don't really know. But it's it's that general location that you had on your sketch though, right? It's the
Mhm.
general location on the sketch. So I think they've decided they're gonna order a survey of that area. Is there anything else you wanted to say? I'm sorry.
Ask Herb if he thinks Logic is
Hold
good
on.
enough to give us those two addresses to contact the two owners.
Find where that tree is. I would not try to tell somebody where that tree is unless you have some legal method, and the legal method is a surveyor.
Can you hear that, Linda?
Yes, so Herb, does the city conduct the survey and then bill back the,
Here's what I suggest. I think it's 8202. I'm sorry I didn't put the other parcel. The one right to the left, 8204. Have the code enforcement guy go there and say, I think it's on your property. Do you have a survey? And see if they could say, if they had a survey, they could determine.
That's a good suggestion.
Yep.
okay?
And they may know where their property line is, so they just may not be aware of it, so.
Yes.
So you would start with 8202 with that question and then go from there?
Well, when I'm saying 82, I'm an architect. 13'4" is 13'4", okay? I don't know if it's 8204. I know it's left of 8204. I mean, I don't know that. All you have to do is look at Logic, and they'll give you that address.
Okay.
Okay?
Pulling it
That's
up right now.
I'm so frustrated. I have gone around 40 different ways trying to get into this meeting, and they keep telling me my WebEx's system is not up to date. So,
They
It is
update a
frustrating.
lot, so you do need to do that. Zoom does the same thing, so it's kind of like anytime I have a call, I will go out and just say, are there updates? And there usually are.
well, I've been working trying to get it. So anyway, sound like y'all had a good meeting, but that's all I got to add. Thank you.
We missed you.
We did.
Yeah,
Okay.
I needed Connie to give me some humor.
It's very
We did.
frustrating.
It's not
to
near
be
as
on
much
the
fun.
phone.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, I guess we need a motion to adjourn, please.
Motion to adjourn.
Yeah, I guess I can second. All in favor, we're good to go. So thank you all,
Yeah.
and
Thank
Linda,
you.
Linda,
Yes.
before you take off, I'm looking at Logic. I would start with 8202 Woodrose.
Okay, got it.
If that line is off, it's off to closer to the house and further away from the house. So yeah, I would, because you can actually see the dead tree on Logic.
Okay, sounds good.
Um,
That's very helpful, and I
I
guess
would
we
start
need
with
to
that.
follow up with Mike and say, we've got an issue and go from there.
All righty.
All righty, thank you
Sounds
all.
like a plan.
We'll
Thank
stay
you.
in touch. Thank everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
The
guys.
bees.
Okay.
Have fun with your bees.
Good luck with the bees.